friends, it has been an important week for us. A rich week, I think, and I'm sure an enjoyable week. And it has been made rich and important and enjoyable for two reasons, I think. One is the what, and the second is the who. The what we have heard, the what that has been presented, the what we have discussed, the content, the ideas, the research, all of that is really important. But also important has been who has gathered, this group of people. The process of our gathering, the time spent together, getting to know each other. You know, when the Patrimony Commission was planning this event and thinking what we might do, we had to come up with a name. So what should we call it this week? Perhaps we should call it a conference. And we thought, no, we can think maybe of a better word than conference. How about we look at the word colloquium? It's a Latin word, it sounds better. And we looked up the origin of the word colloquium, and it means, originally it meant a gathering to share ideas, to converse, to dialogue, an academic dialogue. We thought, okay, that sounds good. But then we looked up the origin of the word symposium. And the symposium originally was a drinking party. So we thought, that's a better word for a Marist gathering. You know. We remember that Master went to the tavern, but it also has a sense of people enjoying one another's company and enjoying each other. So thank you for the symposium this week. Let's just revisit the purpose of our symposium. And I quote directly from the publicity that we put out many months ago now. We said that there are three purposes for this symposium. The first purpose, and I read directly from this, the first purpose aims to bring together Marist scholars, researchers, writers, formators, animators, and directors of Marist mission and life, so that they can get to know one another and build international networks. I think we've done that. The second purpose is that the symposium will foster new scholarship and new writing on Marist themes and provide a forum for this to be shared and discussed among Marists from a range of backgrounds and a range of expertise. I think we've done that. And third, it seeks to nurture new and potential Marist researchers and writers, and to build intergenerational links. From what I've heard from people, yes, we have achieved our purposes, and I thank you for all that's gone into that. One of the characteristics, just to revisit some things I said on Monday, one of the characteristics of a spiritual family that is alive, that is growing, that has vitality, is that it continues to evolve. It continues to evolve its language. It continues to evolve its narrative. It continues to change and to adapt and to recontextualize, be relevant to new contexts and emerging realities. That's what we have been about this week. A spiritual family that does not continue to change and evolve is a spiritual family that is dying. And we have seen this week that is not the case for us. And in any vital, living, spiritual family, there needs to be a number of things in place. There are three big ones. There needs to be good formation of people. We have been talking about that this week. Secondly, there needs to be good leadership, genuine leadership. And we have been talking about that. Thirdly, there needs to be appropriate structures for people to belong to and to exercise co-responsibility within. And we were talking about that. We were talking about that yesterday. But there's a fourth element that I think is characteristic of any strong, vital, spiritual family. And that is its scholarship. Its critical reflection. Its research. And of course that has been a major reason for us coming together this week. It's important that those who are involved in research, and those who are involved in formation, and those who are involved in animation, and those who are involved in administration, interact with one another, dialogue with one another, inform one another. That has been important for us this week. One thing that I take away from this week is to be very, very encouraged by all that is happening, to learn about what's happening around our Marist world. We have discovered, yes, there are people who are writing books and articles. There are people who are doing postgraduate study, doctorates and master's degrees in Marist history and Marist spirituality and Marist leadership. We have discovered some wonderful things that are being done in Marist formation and Marist animation. And that's encouraging. It's encouraging for me, and I suspect it's encouraging for all of us, because it tells us that, yes, we are a family that will be faithful to its founding, but creatively faithful. That today's Marists, and today's Marists are a broad group of people, as we know. Today's Marists will have a good knowledge of their story and be inspired by it, but they'll also be positioned to write the next chapter in a way that's authentic, in a way that's relevant, in a way that is faithful to who we are as Marists. So where to from here as we look to the next symposium? We are looking at holding the next symposium in 2025. What should we be thinking about? I mentioned three things. First, it's been important for me this week that we have not only had here some of our older scholars and researchers, I think I put myself in that category, but we have also had people here who who are younger, people who are future and potential writers and animators and researchers and leaders. And that's so important. And it's, if we look for our next symposium again, I think we should do that. Secondly, whom should we invite to present? Well, I'd say let's hear from everyone who is, or many people who are doing research, who are established researchers and writers. Let's hear what they are doing, their latest projects. Let's hear from people who are doing postgraduate study. Let's hear from people who are involved in Marist leadership and their experience of that. Let's hear from people who are involved in administration. Let's hear from people who are involved in spiritual direction and the development of Marist spirituality. And allow me to say, and to say strongly, let us hear from women. It's so essential that we have both the presence and the voice of women to contribute to our Marist discourse. If we look around the world, at least in my own country, the majority of people who are involved in our Marist life and mission are women, more than men. So, let's really look for that next time. And third, I'd ask, what is the study or the writing that needs to be done next? We've heard of some possibilities this week of where new Foki could be in research and writing. Let's continue to think about that. How can we encourage new research? What new research or new writing can we sponsor? So that we continue to evolve our narrative, our discourse. Now, one way forward for everyone contributing to that is to, my friends, is to complete your evaluations of this week. And in the next week or two, we will send you by email an online evaluation, and we really encourage everyone to complete that, and so we can hear how we can make the next symposium even better, and how we can plan for it. And all of this with the one underlying motive, one underlying purpose, that the Marists of today and the Marists of tomorrow will have a deep sense of their identity and their purpose. The two things. Who are they as Marists, and why are they Marists? So, a few things before we finish. Well, some more practical things. As we've said a couple of times, most of the papers that have been presented will be published eventually. So the presenters will have the opportunity to revise what they have written, to edit it, and we have given them 2 months to do that. So within the early next year, we hope to publish and to translate into the different languages the papers that have been shared. So stay alert for that. And again, I just remind people that you have had access to the drafts of those papers, but they are for private circulation amongst us, not for publication, not for sharing at this stage. Secondly, just practicalities about leaving. Ariella has talked about the arrangements. Just to add to that, if you are staying in the general house, please bring your key to the reception area, to the centralino, as it's called, with the reception foyer at the front of the house. Bring your key there. Put it, if no one is in the office, just put it on the bench at the desk. If you are staying in the hotel, check out at the reception desk in the hotel. But all departures, whether they are being run by the taxi company or a member of the community here, all departures will be from the front door of the general house, from outside the Cetulino in the general house. So if you're in the hotel, make your way up and then along the corridor of the superiors to leave from there. Second, or third thing, let me just say a few words of thanks to people. An event like this has taken a lot of work, as you know. I mean, most of us here have organised events and conferences, so you know what goes on. But I would just like to mention a few people in particular. First of all, to Brother Ernesto and the General Council. Ernesto's personal presence here through the week says a lot. Thank you, Ernesto, for that. But and also it says the event has been approved and supported by the General Council. That says a lot about the leadership of our spiritual family. That the leadership group sees the value in what we are doing this week. Sees the value of research and scholarship and discourse, and that's so important. So thank you for that. I would like to thank the members of the Patrimony Commission. There are about 10 of us, and for the work the ideas, the planning that has gone into this, and particularly to those who have joined me on the planning committee, which is a committee of that commission. To Brother Omar Peña, Brother Vincent Burcuasi, to Brother Antonio Romaglio, who's the chair of the commission and joined us also on the planning committee, and particularly to Brother Angel Medina, who has done so much in the practicalities of organising this event. I think, Angel, when you signed up, you agreed to be the director of the Secretariat of Brothers Today. Perhaps the symposium was not in your job description. But so much of your time and effort has gone into this, so thank you. Many people here in the General House have really stepped up and done a lot. I mentioned in particular Luis La Rosa, who is here today, who has been so very helpful in so many ways in publicising the event, in supporting the event, in organising materials for resources for this event. So thank you, Luis, and if you could pass on our thanks to your team, particularly Giuliano and Sarah, who have been here through the week and have done other things. Flaminia Filanci, who is the secretary to Brother Angel, and also Brother Faki, has done a lot of administrative work. She has been wonderful. She's not here today, but we thank her. Also not here today is the manager of the General House, Luca Pinarelli, who has done, again, so much behind the scenes to make sure this happens. Others who have worked very quietly, in the General House, most here would not have seen what they have been doing, but they were here last weekend, they're here on Sunday morning, Arabella and Alberto, just doing little things, and the whole team in the kitchen, the dining room, the hotel, so many people have helped. I'd like to highlight the contribution of the members of the General House community. Brother Patrick McNamara is here as the community leader. Pat, please pass on our thanks to all the brothers in the community. We have not come to an anonymous hotel or anonymous conference centre. We have come into our family home. You've made us very welcome. We have felt at home, and in a whole range of ways, from guiding people, arranging things, just making us feel welcome. Members of the community have done so much, and so we thank you very much, Pat and community. To our hard-working translators, to Edouard, who's come from Lebanon, to our brothers Al from the United States, Teofilo from Portugal. It's often here in Rome. There's no Marist event, Teofilo, without you translating, I don't think. And Luis Soprano has come from also across from Spain. Thank you very much to our translators, our very hard-working translators. Can I say a word of thanks to our presenters? It has just been wonderful that we have had 17 different people running sessions over this week. And people from quite different backgrounds, different academic backgrounds, different ages, different experiences, different countries, different cultures. And I think we would all just recognize how much work those presenters have put into their presentation, often to writing a paper to go with it. So we really value what has been done by you, each of you. And can I thank everyone for coming, for your attendance, for your involvement, for your contribution, for your obviously enthusiastic engagement with what's happened through the week. The scholars of the Marist world, the writers, the animators, most of you are here in this room. So it has been so important that we have made whatever arrangements were necessary to make the journey here. And for some it's been a long journey. I know some people left their work last Friday and on Monday will be back at their desk or in their job, and have really squeezed this in this week, even though it's meant a long plane ride. So thank you, everyone. We will end our time together very fittingly with the Eucharist, and Antonio will just say a few words about that in a minute. And it's the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, a great Marian feast. I know a significant day for some brothers here. So it's so appropriate that we finish in a Thanksgiving prayer, the great Thanksgiving prayer of the Eucharist. But also remembering the advice of Brother Basilio Rueda, who was quoted yesterday, that it's one thing to have the Mass, but you must also follow it with the meal. We will have a celebratory meal together and to end our time. Our Mass will be celebrated by Father John Larson, the Superior General of the Society of Mary, and he'll be bringing with him two other members of the General House community, Marist Fathers General House community, Juan Carlos Peña and Perry O'Hare. So we welcome those fellow Marists with us this week. So, thank you one and all. And I just hand over to Antonio to finish. Thanks, Antonio.
Gracias. Podemos pasar al español, es fácil. Traductores. Bueno. Pero lo más importante ahora, después de escuchar a Michael, que sí, ha expresado nuestra gratitud a tanta gente, ¿no? Pero cabe a nosotros todos decirle muchas gracias, Michael. Michael fue realmente el corazón, el alma de este simposio, ¿no? Primero entre nosotros, en la comisión, ideas, propuestas, y finalmente, después de mucho pensar, llegamos a este modelo y debemos mucho a ti, Michael, ¿no? Y lo bueno es que el tiempo pasa y con tanto trabajo, Michael sigue siendo verde, ¿no? Siempre green, Michael green. Es un trabajo verdejante porque es muy fecundo, ¿no? Y entonces, en nombre de todos nosotros, del gobierno general también, ¿no? Queremos dejarte un recuerdo un poquito más grande que los otros que hemos ofertado a la gente, ¿no? Te lo merece, ¿no?